Taoiseach, in 2020, the people of Waterford placed their trust in me, many driven by a singular issue, the undelivered promise of 24/7 cardiac care. This is a critical service, a matter of life and death for the 600,000 people in the South East who rely on University Hospital Waterford. We've seen the tragic consequences of this unmet need through stories like that of Tom Power and Una McDermott and the data exposed by the RTE Investigates team. An entire community marched in protest. 22,000 people, Taoiseach, took to the streets of Waterford in 2013. The issue is not new, nor is the frustration, and you have a legacy here. As Minister for Health in 2016, you commissioned the Heritage Report, a document so riddled with errors that the word clinical was misspelled on the front page. It was hastily thrown together, deliberately misinformed, marred by dodgy and incorrect data, and it is still used to shield inaction. When the flaws of that report became apparent, you still, as Health Minister in 2016, commissioned the National Review of Specialist Cardiac Care Services, led by Philip Nolan. For the past 6 years, we have been told to wait for that review. The report remains buried on the Minister for Health's desk. Promises have been made and recycled, Taoiseach. Your colleague, the Taoiseach Micheál Martin, stood for a photo in Waterford in 2016, promising 24/7 cardiac care for the South East, a promise that played a role in his party regaining a seat in the region. Standing beside him was the now Junior Minister for Health, the main beneficiary of that promise. Last November, on WLR's Damien Tiernan show, the Minister assured us that recruitment for a 7-day service would begin in January. In March, she had to return to assure us that recruitment would start in June. And again she returned, and again, while nothing has happened. The promises are repeated, but the people of Waterford wait. Today, Taoiseach, I ask for clarity and accountability. When will you deliver 24/7 emergency cardiac care in Waterford? And in your response, Taoiseach, can I please ask you to limit your comments to the issue of 24/7 cardiac care? This is not about political point scoring. It is about fulfilling the commitments made to a community. And now you do hold the levers of power. You have the legacy on the issue. I ask you, expunge this wrong and show the people of the South East that politics can work for them.
Thank you, Deputy Shanahan. Taoiseach, please.
That's the question, but you don't get to tell people what they can say in response, and I think that's quite important, that I have a right to freely speak in this chamber that I'm democratically elected to as well. So look, I think let's be very clear. Minister Mary Butler, Deputy Marco Causey and Senator John Cummins have been working on this issue, as have you. So let's not suggest, as has Deputy Cullen, let's not suggest that the bona fides of all people in Waterford in terms of trying to improve the services for people in University Hospital Waterford and improve the cardiac services. And we have our political spats from time to time. I don't doubt your bona fides in relation to this issue. I acknowledge that. And we have seen a significant level of investment to improve and expand cardiac services. So we saw the second cath lab opened on the 4th of September 2023. I think by any fair margin, that was an important milestone. And we saw it operating 5 days per week, Monday to Friday, 8 to 6. We've seen 24 whole-time equivalents provided, so 24 people effectively provided to open the second cath lab. And I know the hospital is using a combination of day beds and recovery spaces for the operation of the second cath lab. The medium to long-term options now for recovery beds are now being discussed with the HSE, involving the relocation of the on-call residents and refurbishment of this area. We've seen the opening hours for the first cath lab extended as well in September 2022. And now we've seen permission being granted to recruit a specific group of staff for the initial tranche for 2024, and it's now an operational issue for the HSE to do so. So Minister Butler has assured me that permission has been granted by the Department of Health to recruit a specific number of staff for the initial tranche of new developments for this year, and that the HSE is now charged with getting on with doing that. But in light of you raising the issue today, which is a fair and important issue for people in Waterford, I will directly engage with the HSE and the CEO of the HSE to seek an urgent update on this matter, because all of us in this House want to see an expansion of those services. All of us in this House do want to see that. We have to do it in a way that is clinically advised, clinically safe, and I will seek an urgent update from the CEO of the HSE for you on this matter.
Deputy Shanahan.
Taoiseach, yesterday we announced a budget of €10.1 billion And yet, in the southeast at this moment in time, we can only treat heart attack in a cath lab 60 hours per week. I'd remind you that the Katie Hannon RTE report showed that only 3% of heart attack patients were getting out of the region when the Waterford lab was closed. That report is 5 years ago. And we can hardly think that ambulance transfer times have improved since then. And I would say to you, I have 4 families living within a 5-mile radius of me, all who have members who have suffered a heart attack. One of those is Jennifer Feasy, whose father, Willie Doyle, started the first cardiac care group in Waterford. That is over a decade ago. And these families worry every night and go to bed apprehensively waiting for the dawn because they know there is no service available to them. Taoiseach, I have heard you mention many times in this House and reference that this government wants to leave nobody behind. But we are leaving a whole region behind here. And we don't need a report to tell us what's needed in the southeast. We have the testimonies of the McDermott family, of the Power family. We have so many other testimonies of people who have been delayed to cardiac care and are suffering as a result. So I would ask you, please, Taoiseach, to implement this. And I would remind you, Taoiseach, that the HSE recruitment embargo stopped the recruitment of the 7-day service by not bringing those people forward. Those were emergency personnel, and why were they included in that embargo? So I would ask you to get the department and get government to stop dragging its feet and deliver this equality issue to the southeast, please.
Thank you, Deputy.
Well, thanks very much, Deputy Shanahan. Look, there has been a significant level of investment in University Hospital Waterford, and I know you don't want me to broaden the issue too much, but I do just want to say for the people of Waterford who no doubt will follow this debate that we have seen staffing at the hospital grow by 866 people from the end of 2019 to today. There's 49 more doctors, consultant doctors, there's 114 more NCHDs, there's 378 more nurses and midwives, as well as 118 more health and social care professionals. In 2019, the hospital in Waterford had a budget of 201 million. In 2024, the budget's more than 309 million. So the budget has grown during the lifetime of this government by 108 million euro. I accept there's work to do. I accept there's work to do. I really do. But I do want people to know over 100 million euro of additional investment, significant extra staff increases, expansion of our cardiac services. And in light of you raising the issue today, I will seek an update from the HSE Chief Executive and come back to you directly on the matter.